Hey everyone, it's Mara. I haven't done an update in a while, and I just wanted to let you know what was going on and keep everybody updated. Um, I was gonna, I was gonna update like a few days ago, but I had not a complication. Let's not say that. I didn't have a complication. I just had a moment, and I wanted to wait until today to do a video. So I do think about updating, but then something happens and it just doesn't quite work out. So I don't forget by any means. Um, so I am 16 and a half weeks pregnant, and that is based on how big the baby is, not necessarily last menstrual period, which my periods were always abnormal anyway, so I could never base it off of that, or ovulation or any of that. So this is based off of baby size. Now, if I based it off of last menstrual period, I, I would be way more pregnant. That just shows you how far off my period was compared to probably implantation and all that stuff. Um, yeah, I'd probably be like close to 20 or some odd weeks. I'm just thinking here in my head. If I based it off of ovulation, it would only put me like a week behind. So not too bad. So 16 and a half weeks, I can live with that. That's close enough. And like I said, we're basing that off of baby size and how big, crown to rump, head to butt. Okay, so how I'm doing. Doing really good. Like I said, 16 and a half. Very nauseous. Like even right before I started recording this, I'm sitting there going, I'm okay. So nauseous almost all the time. I try to eat all the time. Also, not big meals. I snack. So I make sure I have like some sort of bite to eat almost every hour at this point. So whether it's a little can of V8, which is one of the only ways I can get vegetables these days. Um, my lunch, of course, I ate my lunch. I'll have a cheese stick and maybe a fruit or some applesauce. I have a sandwich, a little like breakfast sandwich for breakfast, and then, like I said, about an hour later, I have a yogurt. About an hour after that, I usually have a fiber bar. So I mean, like it's like every hour I'm eating something, and I still cannot contain the nausea. I'm also taking for the nausea. I'm sure some ladies have heard of something called Diglegis. It's a prescription brand name, and I started taking that in my twin pregnancy, but it was so expensive, and my insurance wouldn't cover. I mean, when I say so expensive, I'm saying $500 for the prescription. It was ridiculous. So I didn't continue that, but my doctor said in place of I can take B6 and Unisom, which is the same exact ingredients in this Diglegis. So I took that for the longest time, and then when I switched over to my OB in the second trimester, I started getting more nauseous, just like I am in this trimester. And so he gave me Zofran. I don't want to go on Zofran this pregnancy because it really contributed to constipation, and it just made me stopped up. So I'm really trying to avoid it and just push through the nausea. So I'm still taking the B6 and the Unisom. And I could take the Zofran, but like I said, I'm really just trying to avoid it as much as possible. And I'm glad because, not to tell you what's going on, but I've been very regular, so I haven't had any issues. And to give you a little more info on that, right before I lost Siobhan, my little girl, I was very constipated, and I don't want to say that triggered anything because I don't think it did, but I just kind of have like a post-traumatic stress about it because I was so constipated and I kept trying to go to the bathroom and I was having so much trouble doing it. And do you know what I mean? So it's just the thought of being constipated again is I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So I'm staying off the Zofran and just sticking with the stuff and suffering a little bit because I've been so nauseous. Tired, but that's kind of off and on. Like some days I feel great and other days like today I'm just worn out. Let's see what else. tired, like literally, like physically, like worn out, and I think this has a lot to do with the fact that I'm really out of shape. Because I had the babies. I was pretty active in my twin pregnancy. I didn't really. I wasn't fearful of what I should have been fearful for. So I was pretty active, and then of course we lost Siobhan, and I was on bed rest with Ronan still inside. And the bed rest, of course, I've been on bed rest for almost 2 weeks, with just bathroom privileges, and that wears you out, of course, because you're not moving. Your muscles are literally going to sleep, And then after we lost Ronan, giving birth in general is pretty tiring. Any lady who's given birth knows that, the few days right after, you just feel worn out. And you're recovering. You're in that recovery stage. So I really didn't do much for a while there. And I wanted to start getting back into an exercise routine because I was not expecting to get pregnant. In fact, I wanted to try to lose a little bit of weight because I knew we would, at the time, I thought we were going to maybe try to do IVF in 2015 or maybe even early 2016. So I wanted to try to be really healthy and lose weight and stuff like that. So I was going to start a routine, and I never did in time, and then I got pregnant again. And now I really don't want to exercise for fear. I just don't want to overdo it. I don't want to just do more than I should and irritate my uterus and irritate my cervix. So I've been really lazy. Like, I don't do much. It's bad for me, but at the same time, I can't. That's post-traumatic stress probably again. I just can't talk myself into doing it because I fear it's going to hurt hurt my baby. It's not even going to hurt me. I'm going to be fine, but it's going to somehow cause what happened last time. So I think I'm just tired. When I do a little too much, that was my dog. She's crazy. If I do a lot of walking or go to the store, it wears me out just a little bit more than I think it used to back in the day. I mean, I felt like I was really active, and now I'm nothing. So, I don't lay around or anything by any means. I'm not on like bed rest, but I don't exercise. I've thought about doing yoga, but I haven't even done that yet. So I think that has more to do with the fact that I'm out of shape as to why I'm like so physically exhausted. I'm sleeping okay. I have it's a Leech Co. noodle pillow that I had in the first pregnancy. I'm using it again this pregnancy, and I'm trying really hard to stay on my left side and a little bit on my right. I mean, left, right. I know they say left is better, but if I'm on the right, I try not to worry too much. So I'm trying really hard to sleep on my left or right side, and I do okay. I mean, in the middle of the night, I know I've flipped over or I find myself on my back, which I'm always like, no. I'm not on my belly anymore, which I was sleeping on my belly for the longest time, even in the first part of pregnancy, and so I managed to cut that out. Plus, my belly is getting bigger to the point where it's just uncomfortable. So, I'm sleeping pretty well, but, I still have a little bit of increased frequent urination, so I'll have to wake up quite a bit in the night. So that's about it symptom-wise. My complication was this past Thursday. I started to feel a lot of pressure, and someone who's been through what I've been through, that scares you quite a bit. It started, I think, late Thursday, maybe it was late Wednesday, sorry, and it continued through the night, and that irritated me so much through the night that I really didn't sleep that night. And then the next day I had it probably until 2 o'clock, and then it was gone. And I told my husband, I said, it wasn't so intense that I felt like we needed to go into the ER, the labor and delivery. And it went away, and there was no bleeding or cramping. It was just pressure. So it just felt like, like baby was pushing down on my cervix. So, it made me really nervous, and I had an appointment coming up today So I wanted to wait until this appointment to do a video to tell you how it went. Um, my last cervical check, my cervix was 3.2. So today was my cervix check, and it was 3.6. So I was worried about nothing. I mean, I might have been feeling pressure because baby was moving or something like that. But it wasn't my cervix shortening, which is all I want. It's all I want. I had no shortening of cervix. I had no dilation of cervix. Everything was perfect today. So that's probably just something I'm going to have to get used to. It might be my cerclage and the way it's placed and how high it's placed. It's possible that I'm gonna feel pressure a little bit more. Plus, it can't dilate, so maybe if I didn't have the cerclage, there would have been a problem if with baby pushing down on my cervix. So really, thank goodness that I did what I did, and I don't regret it to this day. It was the best thing I've ever done. And my insurance paid for it all, so I really have no complaints whatsoever. I don't even have a big bill I have to pay. So my cervical check went really good because my cervix was longer than last time. So it grew in a way, and I hope it does. I mean, even if it just stays that way, that's fine. If it shortens a little, I wouldn't worry too much. But it growing is wonderful. And cervixes do that, so they go up and down, and it's no big deal. So I'm really, really happy. What else? I'm trying to think of one big thing, but I want to save that for last. I think that's it. So 16 and a half weeks. I do feel my nerves up a little bit just because we're getting closer to that time that we lost Siobhan. We lost her at 20 weeks and 4 days, but technically it was like 20 weeks and 1 day when I noticed something was wrong. We went into labor and delivery. And then we lost Ronan. We were trying so hard to get to 24 weeks with him, and we lost him at 22 weeks and 2 days. So we're getting closer to that time period where we had our losses. So our anxiety is definitely there. And so emotionally, I'm going through probably one of the toughest parts that's going to be in the pregnancy. From now until viability, 24 weeks. And 24 weeks for me is going to be like the second week in March. So it's only mid-January, so you can understand I feel like I have such a long road ahead of me. And, today's checkup went perfect, so I'm hoping that the long road is just going to be up here, and it's not my body. My body does what it's supposed to this time and behaves, and really the hard part is going to be mentally getting over it. So yeah, I'm very pleased. Everything's going very well. I'm starting to feel a little flutters from the baby. I'm so excited about that. I haven't felt like a real on kick, but in the past couple days I've felt little flutters, and I'm so excited. So I can't wait to feel the actual kick. I mean, anyone who's been pregnant and has felt that, it is glorious. It's probably one of the first wonderful things about pregnancy is feeling the kick, and then of course getting a baby at the end is probably the next best thing. So feeling those first kicks are very exciting. I'm feeling my flutters. So okay, so here's the big news. We know what we're having, and we're excited. And it's funny because I think at first I told myself I wanted a girl, and then I for some reason had this hunch that we were having a boy. And the other day, prior before we found out, I asked my husband, I was like, what do you think it is? I wanted to get what he thought. And he says, I think it's a boy. And I said, okay. So we go into our appointment. This actually happened at our last appointment. I know I'm only 16 and a half weeks, but this ultrasound they use is like super high powered, so they can see everything. I mean, I'm sure if they pointed it to the sky, they could see like craters on the moon, because it does such a good job. So she did the cervical check, and she said, real quick, let's just look at baby. She didn't do that today. We just did cervical check, and then we left. We saw that the baby was still there, but she did the cervical check. She said, let's look at baby. So she looks at baby, looks at the heart, looks at the bladder, and then realizes that we're having a little boy. So yay to us, another little boy. So We've got a little girl, Siobhan, and we've got 2 little boys, Ronan, and now this little boy. So we could not be happier. Like I said, at first I thought I wanted a little girl. And I don't think I don't still want a little girl, but then my mind changed because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's a boy. And as soon as your mind goes there, you totally embrace it. You don't even think twice about your original thoughts. So we're both very excited to have a little boy on the way. If it was a girl, we'd be excited. I mean, if it was a little dinosaur, we'd be excited. We just want him to come home healthy and safe. We want him to come home, period. We actually want him to come home and be a baby and grow up and be a little kid and be a teenager and be an adult. And we want to die before him, and yeah, that's all we want. So that is all that's happening over here. I hope you guys don't mind that I waited a little bit to share. There's not a lot going on, so I think as things get closer, I'm hoping to maybe update you a little more, maybe weekly, but I know it's been about 3 weeks this time, so sorry about that. Hope everybody's doing good. I appreciate the comments, and someone suggested another channel that I can follow, so I appreciate that. If anyone knows any other ones, I'd like to see people that have maybe incompetent cervix, or people that have transabdominal cerclages, people, that have are having their rainbow babies, stuff like that. That would be great. I mean, I don't mind trying to conceive videos, but I'm not in that journey anymore, and even if I was, I'm a little beyond most trying to conceive videos. I've done it all. I could probably teach classes about it. But any of those others, rainbow babies, incompetent service, cerclages, bed rest ladies, that's always interesting to me too. So if you know any other good channels, please suggest them. So I hope everybody's well.